Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo, and it's always great to be on this show where we discuss all things books. It's books, books, and books on Channels Book Club. Well, have you had the experience of self-discovery? I hope you have, because self-discovery is really key to personal growth. We can't really become great until we discover who we really are. Self-discovery is key to productivity, to success, achievements, impact, influence, all sorts of things. It is those who have known themselves that can truly impact the lives of others. Remember that old saying, man, know thyself. Yes. So we've got to know ourselves. We've got to know who we are. We've got to discover what kind of talent, what kind of capacity we have, what kind of dispositions we have. We have to know ourselves. Until somebody has truly known himself, he can't really make a lot of impact in this world. Well, the book that we're featuring today is in many ways about self-discovery. And the author who has written it went through her own journey, her own experience of self-discovery, and she thought of writing some of these experiences down in a book. And she eventually came up with a book that you will want to read. It's right there on your screen, titled Building My Own Table. Let's get to meet with this fascinating author for this week and enjoy the conversation about her book, Building My Own Table.
Kehinde Aderibigbe is a content creator, entrepreneur, and author. Aderibigbe holds a BSc in Banking and Finance from Babcock University and an MSc in Marketing from the University of Lagos. As a writer and content creator, she uses storytelling to connect with audiences, sharing insights on personal growth, self-discovery, lifestyle, motherhood, family, and well-being. Kehinde Aderibigbe joins Channels Book Club to discuss her book, Building My Own Table.
Kehinde, nice to have you on Channels Book Club. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Building My Own Table. First of all, that title is brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
But we'll come to it. Over the years, you have been into content development, creative works, writing, blogging, all sorts of things like that. Now, this story is in your book,
Yes.
which we'll talk about. But I would like you to just, for the sake of viewers out there and a way of introducing, you to them, that tiny little bit of that journey that led you here, I would like you to share that.
Okay. So, for the longest time, I've always been plagued by self-doubt. I knew that I had some potentials, but I didn't quite believe in those potentials. And in my book, I shared how it all started for me, wanting my authentic self to shine, because I believe that I was actually created for more. I mean, some of us know that we're not just meant to be in one corner of the earth doing nothing, So, and I knew that I had stories to tell. I knew that there are people like me, that would find my story relatable and want to learn from it and grow personally. So it just all started and happened where one day, I was just tired of doing the regular.
Yeah.
And so I asked myself,
What do I really want to do?
What do I really want to do? Who am I? Like, what do I value? Instead of just doing the regular. So I took it up from there. And that was when, knowing that, yes, I needed to discover myself, that was when I knew that, I needed to find out more about me. And I realized that you can't really find more about yourself until you actually go through some certain stages in life, which it has to do with the personal growth aspect I spoke about in my book. So I discovered how...
So it was a journey of self-discovery.
Exactly. It was a journey of self-discovery.
Okay, let's get practical. The first thing, chapter 1, embracing my authentic self. That's powerful. So you wrote here, authenticity, I've come to realize, is not just a word, but a way of being. It is a commitment to living in alignment with my deepest truths, even when the world preaches conformity. It is about honoring the whispers of my heart and embracing the essence of who I am meant to be unapologetically. Can you explain that?
Yes. So that particular chapter or that phrase talks about self-awareness. I mean, how are you supposed to discover yourself if you don't know who you are?
Know who you are.
You need to know who you are. You need to have a good understanding of who you are at your core. So that was where that came from. You know, honoring the whispers of my heart. What do I like? What are my values? Who am I in my entirety? So it started from asking myself those questions, getting aware of myself, my identity. So knowing all of that will help me to actually build my own table, create opportunities for myself, and just, you know, walk in my own path, and also invite other people to my table.
That's what you meant by embracing my authentic self.
Yes.
So a lot of people, Kehinde, this is serious talk. This is serious talk. A lot of people out there are not living their own lives. They've not embraced themselves. They are not being who they are. They are not doing things that align with who they are. They are just running the rat race, running on the tracks of other people, and they are frustrated. I mean, they come back home in the night and they are tired and they are just done. And then the following morning, they have to wake up very early and keep running that race because they want to put food on the table, because that's the way to survive, because that's what other people expect them to be doing and all that. This is what you're addressing, right?
Yes.
Talk to me a bit about that.
Yeah, so I would say we really don't have to live life that way. I know everybody is after making money and trying to put food on their table, but true joy and fulfillment comes from doing what you know you're meant to be doing, not what, like I said earlier, not what the society expects. And a lot of people, I think, are that frustrated because they don't want to harness their individuality. They are scared to actually believe in themselves and embrace their imperfections. We are all imperfect beings, you know, so it starts with authenticity, knowing who you are, you know, getting to the core of who you are and allowing yourself discover purpose. There's something about discovering purpose that brings not just money afterwards, you know, but will make you feel happy and fulfilled and just live good lives. Yeah.
You wrote, I concluded that to truly embrace who I am, I must go through a process, one that starts with a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
I must be ready to embark on a quest to harness my individuality and carve out my own path in a world that often loves to put one into a box. You seem very rebellious. You don't want to be boxed.
Oh, no,
you don't want to be. You don't want to do what the world wants you to do.
I don't want to.
You want to do what you are meant to do. That should be the attitude, right?
Yes.
But that's tough.
It's tough, but it's doable.
It's. I mean, in reality, for a lot of people, it's tough because, you know, they are in this box. I mean, they're in this mental box, you know, and the message there is, look, you've got to survive. You've got to pay the bills. You have to pay the bills. If you don't pay the bills, you are in trouble. So, and when you're in that box, you really, it's difficult to think about sacrificing time and yourself to go or run on a different path, which may take time before your bills start getting paid.
Oh, yes.
Is that not the challenge?
Yes.
Huh?
Waiting the process. The process is going to be long, no doubt. You're going to get tired. You're going to get frustrated, no doubt. But you have to keep it moving. That's what building is all about. It just doesn't happen in one day. And I feel that's one of the issues that we're going through now. You know, everybody just wants to make it quick. I understand bills need to be paid. Like, let's make it fast. We need to make it, but building takes time. And you realize that as you're building, you're not just building, or you're not just discovering yourself. You are growing personally, because you need those lessons. You need those lessons when you actually get to where you're going. And you don't even have to wait to get to where you're going. The joy is in the small victories that happen on your way there.
Tell me some of the things that you now do that you're enjoying that you wouldn't have been doing if you didn't decide to embrace your authentic self.
Like this.
Like this.
This.
Writing a book.
This is an oh wow moment for me. Writing a book and even being on this show. Because if you read that book deeply, you would see where I've always been a dreamer. So maybe that's why it's easy for me to, talk about build your own table, don't conform. Right from my childhood, I've always known that I've always loved to dream. I've been a storyteller. I've actually imagined being on my own talk show. So for me, this is building my own table.
This is already
writing my book, being on this show, and building my table, letting everybody know what the book is about, and also empowering and inspiring them on their own journey as well.
It's amazing the potential people have, the potential we have, just locked in there, and will remain there unless we just decide to dare, to try, to just step out.
Yeah.
You've been thinking of writing a book. That's what I tell people. If you've been thinking of writing a book, start writing the book now.
Yes.
And one day you write that book and the book travels all over the world and impacts people you've never met before. That is living, isn't it?
That is living.
Yeah.
That is fulfillment.
If you have a song in you, write the song. Let the song out. If you have a business in you, start it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's life. That's why I like your book, Kehinde.
And you don't even have to be perfect. You can start with your imperfect self, but just make sure you're authentic and you take out the lessons and just evolve. Okay,
you titled Chapter 2, Discovering What Fueled Me. Discovering What Fueled Me. Under that, Chapter 2, you wrote, as I delved deeper into my passion, I noticed a shift within me. It felt like a sense of excitement and enthusiasm that I hadn't felt in years. A bubbling energy that seemed to emanate from the very core of my being. I'm jealous. It was as if I had finally found the missing piece of the puzzle, the piece that had been longing to be discovered all along. That's the feeling of somebody who makes that discovery, right?
Yes.
Okay. You titled Chapter 3, Unearthing Your Passion. Unearthing Your Passion. And then you have these questions in your book. I like them. These questions, what are they? They help you to discover yourself?
Yes. Who are you? What are your values? Who do you want to be in 5 years to come? What message do you have to pass out to people?
How do you want to be remembered when you die?
How do you want to be remembered when you die?
Then you have ones like, what makes me proud of myself?
Yeah.
What do I want from life? What do I regret? Interesting. So the book is, as much as it's teaching, is also sort of like helping you to practically discover yourself.
Yes, self-reflective, reflecting on your journey and knowing the steps to take to actually discover yourself. Okay,
I can see others. What drives me? What am I missing? What is the one problem that I greatly desire a lasting solution for? What kind of impact do my choices have on the life I want to live? Interesting. What is the single biggest challenge that people have, that prevents them from discovering themselves or walking this path?
Lack of self-belief.
Lack of self-belief, not fear.
Fear as well. It's all self-belief. It's fear that makes you not believe in yourself. And for the longest time, I've been plagued by self-belief. I've always doubted my own capabilities. I've always felt like I didn't quite belong, but I knew I had these potentials. So that's the message.
That's a message. Kehinde, let's we tell viewers everything in this book. This is small sized. Let's keep the rest.
Yes.
Go and get the book. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Channel's Book Club, and thanks for sharing your experiences and your hearts in this book titled Building My Own Table. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, as you heard, self-discovery is a journey, one that by the time you get to that point where you're discovering who you really are, what you really ought to be doing, where you really should be, it makes such a massive difference in somebody's life. Well, get Kehinde's book, read it, and it might just help you on that journey of self-discovery. Up next is a book launch. Have you ever seen two sisters launch a book each on the same day at the same venue? Well, if you've not, enjoy this.
Friends, family, associates, and colleagues are gathered at the Quintessence Art Gallery to celebrate the launch of two books written by a pair of sisters, The Healthy Perfectionist by Otobo and Wheels of Imagination, Adventures and Verses of Resilience by Otobo under the pen name Toby Wright. Toby Wright's Wheels of Imagination was written based on the author's life experiences after suffering a life-altering accident that left her without the use of her legs, while Otobo's The Healthy Perfectionist details how one can employ the habit of perfectionism in positive and productive ways. Many notable figures are in attendance at this event, including politician and entrepreneur Frank Wike Jr. and veteran actress Joke Silva. The star actress shares her thoughts on Toby Wright's Wheels of Imagination.
I grew up with a mother who was very involved with the disabled. There were a group of them who always went to the Modupe Cold Home, and they worked with the disabled. And a lot of people have worked with the disabled over the years. But very few people realize that the differently abled, as you call it, that's the word, the differently abled like to have their independence and everything that can make their life more dignified. That's what they want. And so when and she gives us a very good comparison in Land of Steps, that when you're in the West, you don't even think about being differently abled because everything is there for you to participate like everybody else. In Nigeria, you must have somebody to carry you. You must have somebody to do, you must have, you cannot. It's very difficult to be independent. And what I like about that too is that sometimes when you're explaining things to people, they don't really get it unless it's coming from someone who is walking that path. So it's not only making places accessible, but making them accessible safely. Those are the kinds of things that she discusses in Land of Steps.
Kome Otobo, whose first book is titled Nigerian Gods, speaks on the moment the idea for the healthy perfectionist came.
In mid-2023, while dealing with a domestic problem that consumed most of my working day, I don't quite remember what it was. It may have been a water pump that suddenly failed, leading to no water in the house, or an unexpected power outage due to a nearby transformer exploding. I had a moment of clarity. I had reacted to the situation calmly and without losing my cool, which would not have been the case a few years ago. In that moment, I mentally patted myself on the back for exhibiting a healthy version of my perfectionism. In the very next moment, the phrase, "the healthy perfectionist," dropped into my mind, and I knew deep within my soul that it was the title of my next book.
Reviewers share their evaluations of both books.
The book is a deep dive into perfectionism in society and how it affects the way that we all live. The book closely examines what it means to be a perfectionist in today's society. It provides sincere advice and practical psychological tools for navigating one's way through a healthy version of perfectionism. The author, Kome Otobo, takes the reader on a journey around the world as she analyzes the often unseen impact of perfectionism in families, schools, workplace, governance, healthcare, social media, and religion.
Dedicated to those who feel their voices do not matter but deserve to be heard, Rice's 219-page book is deliberately written to empower and give voice to the marginalized and undervalued individuals in the society. The book is organized into 5 sections, which provides a structured yet varied journey through the author's reflections on resilience and hope in the face of incapacitating human experience.
Okay, one.
Guests present give their testimonies of the authors and their thoughts on the books.
When I first heard the title, The Healthy Perfectionist, I thought, well, knowing one of the authors, which is Kome, she actually lives perfectionism. It's how she works. I have a running joke with her that she's probably the most efficient and effective person I know. So her writing a book of that type, of that title, is not something too surprising. I think personally that it is something of an expose into the machinations of how her mind works and how she thinks. So I'm very grateful that she's sharing that with the world, and I think the world should be grateful for that too.
I'm so deeply thankful to have both your daughters become published authors, writing from a place of passion, a place of deep understanding of the subject matters. I'm just so grateful.
The authors speak on their experiences writing their books and what they hope readers will get out of them.
From a young age, I understood that I had to be neat, I had to be tidy. If I took something out, it had to go back into the right place. And so as I grew up, I took that into my teenage years, into my young adulthood. And at some point, it crossed over from being something healthy into something unhealthy. So I became quite inflexible. I became rigid. Things had to be a certain way, or I felt like I'd lost control. And it got to a point where I realized that I had to change the way I saw the world. I had to find a way of balancing my need for control with balancing understanding that other people are living their lives in a different way than me, and we have to find a way to come together. So that was the seed of the book. And how I was able to do the research, it really just came out of wanting to educate people and wanting to enlighten them so they would also understand their motivations and the intentions behind a lot of their actions. Because a lot of people do things and they're not sure why they're doing them. They just know that's how they were brought up or that's how they were conditioned. So that's really what the book is about, to help people understand more about themselves.
It was very cathartic. It provided me a creative outlet to express myself, and especially on days where I look at the world and I'm just like, ugh, I'm tired, I'm fed up, I don't want to do anything. It allowed me to get out of my head and be like, okay, so what do I want to do? How can I impact someone's life? And that's how the book kind of came about. So that's what the writing process was like for me. I hope it would start conversations about accessibility and safe accessibility. I'm hoping that it would open up people's minds and eyes so they can see that we still have a very, very, very long way to go when it comes in terms of in the topic of accessibility. We have a long way to go.
The Healthy Perfectionist and Wheels of Imagination are two books that speak volumes on growth, self-improvement, and perseverance.
Interesting. Two sisters, one venue, same dates, two books. Now, this is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Let's meet with you on X, on Instagram, and on social media generally. We're very delighted to respond to any inquiries, any questions, any comments you make. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.